Hi, I'm Kayleen. Are you going to join my graphic book club? I'm doing graphic books reviews because I've learned to love them in the process of learning to write my graphic memoir of how I stopped my mother with mild dementia from forgetting me, and it worked. My book is almost going to be published. I got to figure out how to do it so I don't make more money than the retailers do. But this book is all about the Great Gatsby, and I did email Catherine Woodman-Maynard, and I'm going to send her this review to see if it's okay. So as long as I stayed at only 10% of showing it, it should be okay, but we'll see what happens. But I wanted to share that this is a fantastic adaptation. I think I felt like I was more in the 20s from this book than even the two movies. And I actually asked my high school classmate recently if she remembers how this movie and how this book ended from even the movies and from reading it in high school, and she didn't remember. But I'm going to remember how this book ends, which I'm not going to say it in case anybody hasn't, any young people haven't read this yet. But I highly recommend if you're studying this in school, and I think this is almost always, read this book to help you remember. So images are how you remember. Images are harder for your brain than playing chess. So I learned that from reading all the brain books. So use images to help you remember, and even if they're like, it doesn't matter what they look like, right? It's only for you. If you're trying to draw it, you're going to remember it no matter if anybody else knows what the heck it looks like, right? So I wanted to show some of my favorite art in this book. The art is fantastic. See how the pretty colors and pretty faces? So I copy some panels from graphic books to improve my art. They always talk about trying to practice to improve your art so that you have more of a repertoire in your brain. And I keep thinking, well, I'd rather kill two birds with one stone. I'm learning how to improve my art. I'm also helping my brain, but I'm using realistic. So I'm going to make a video on how I consciously remember my life, and this is part of it. Drawing more of my life. I keep a memory page for every month, and every day I write a little memory. I usually use the internet for cartoon pictures to put in there, but eventually, once I keep doing this, I'm going to be able to draw it in my head. I know I am. So this is my first one. I wanted to say that I'm Catherine. I'm going to definitely copy this page and copies just for my own journals. And I'm going to, in my other video, I'll show what I copied if anybody wants to know. See the colors? It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I'll probably copy. And then, of course, it shows you more what kind of her images makes what's happening in their life, what really happened, right? So this was different. In both movies, they don't really show what happens. And I like how she put some of the facts in the colors and everything too. So it's just more fun to read, right? I don't really remember. Maybe in the actual textbook it's described when they're going into this garage than this. So if anybody remembers from the actual textbook whether it's described that it's right across from the train station, because I'm pretty sure that the movies didn't have that. I didn't finish reading that. I didn't finish watching the Leonardo DiCaprio version, but I watched the Robert Redford version several times. So I wanted to share that. I do know from both the movies that this was there. So this was a fantastic picture, copying Gatsby. Right, I'm going to copy Gatsby's here. Colors are fantastic, and just the way it kind of feels like you're just floating, and that's kind of what their life kind of be. Rich people didn't have to do anything. They're trying to figure out something to do all day, but I can't help but thinking, why didn't they do art? If they're rich and don't have to work, right? See this? See, that's what I wrote down after reading this, that this book makes you feel like you're in the 20s more than either of the movies. Colors and just this wispy feel to it. I'm going to copy Daisy's face here. Does anybody know the Great Gatsby story? Look at these colors, beautiful. So I want to highly encourage you to, I have some more copied here. I don't want to spoil the actual story if you haven't watched the story, but it is a classic. And I truly believe in listening to audiobooks. So listen to the audiobook maybe as well as you're reading it, because, and I do that a lot myself. I listen to audiobooks and then I keep myself little notes, and then I end up writing those notes into like my book if it's not a graphic book, and that really helps. So if you're having trouble remembering, try saying everything out loud. So lately, I always read it. I'll read the books out loud so I remember them more. So I read this out loud. So I highly recommend this book, this adaptation. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, or subscribe. I really appreciate it. Take care.